Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have some new stories from Reddit, and without further ado, let's get into it. Story number 1. AITA for not letting my husband attend his sister's wedding. My husband, 31M, and myself, 28F, are expecting our first child this May, 2025. We found out very early in September, 2024. We did not keep this a secret from anyone and in fact, shared the news in person with his family and my family on the day we found out. During this period, his sister, 29F, was getting to know someone and getting engaged in October 2024. It's sort of an arranged marriage as she was set up and decided to get engaged only after 3 months of speaking to the guy. Her parents, my in-laws, were happy that she liked him and wanted to quickly move forward. She's been wanting to get married for the past 5 years. After the engagement party in October, there was a brief discussion of when the wedding would be. His sister had mentioned that she wanted to be married by no later than April 2025. After our initial OB visit in September, my husband had mentioned to his parents that I would not be able to travel after 34 weeks as per the doctor. His mother decided to ignore this information and not address it. His sister and mother decided to plan on having the wedding in April 2025 even though they had not booked anything. His sister's fiancé lives in Texas, a 3.5 hours flight away. I briefly mentioned that I would not be able to attend in April as it would be too close to my due date, but wished them all the best in their planning. February 2025 rolls around and they decided to have the wedding this upcoming April 19th of 2025 in Texas. I tell my husband that because I will be almost 37 weeks pregnant that we would definitely not be able to go. A month prior, during a huge fight we had, his mom had told him it's okay if I don't go, but that he would have to attend. At the time, I was not opposed to it as I thought it would be fine. 2 weeks ago, we met with my OB and I decided to ask her for advice while he was also in the room. I asked her for confirmation that it's not a problem if he were to travel during my 37th week. She looks at both of us and says absolutely not. We both stare at her shocked and she continues and says, this would be like rolling a dice. I would not recommend it. If something were to happen, I would not be able to slow anything down. He unenthusiastically agrees and says it's messed up that they picked a date knowing we most likely would not be able to attend. It's now almost April and he just told his mother that we will both for sure not be able to attend. My husband and in-laws have a huge fight and he explains the situation, so his dad threatens that he wouldn't attend either if he's not at the wedding. I don't budge after he tells me this and calmly state that he simply cannot attend 2 weeks before my due date as we're both having this baby together. So, AITA for not letting him attend his sister's wedding? Story number 2. AITA for telling my husband to just be a father? I had a play date with my friend this morning with our babies and my LO napped in the car on the ride home, so I stopped for coffee to extend her nap, so napped from 9:30 to 10 a.m. and she was fed at 9:20 before I left the play date. I get home and my husband immediately tries feeding her. I tell him she just woke up from a nap and she's probably not hungry because she just ate before it. He said he knows his baby and tries to feed her anyway. She fusses and arches her back BC she's not hungry. He says it's because we have the wrong nipple size. I begin to explain to him our current routine I've been doing with her while he's at work. I'm still on maternity leave. She wakes up, she plays for around an hour and a half, then eats and goes down for a nap. He says nonsense, she's probably tired and goes to lay her down for a nap. It's only been 45 minutes since I've been home. I tell him he knows she's not tired enough for a nap yet, she's just going to fuss. She's starting to understand that crib means sleep and fights it hard if she's not tired enough. Sure enough, she starts crying as soon as they step foot in the nursery. This is where the argument comes. He tells me I'm being controlling and not letting him be a dad. I tell him I'm just trying to help him and give him pointers because every week is different with a baby that small. He tells me I'm being a helicopter. I tell him I'm just trying to help as he always complains that his daughter thinks he's a stranger BC. He's working all day. He only works 4 days a week BTW. I left to run errands and left him with the baby to bond and stuff. He starts texting me while I'm out. Tell me when to feed her and put her down. She's crying. Should I do it now or later? When's her nap time? She won't stop crying. What does she need? Actual copy and paste from my messages. I can tell this is condescending and he's doing it to be petty. I text out a long rant that I'm just trying to help him so he doesn't have a hard time with her BC. He gets very discouraged when she's super fussy with him and I try to be the bigger person and emphasize that my help it come out of a place of love. And after my long heartfelt message that is way too long to copy and paste here, I get this. Is it okay to put her to bed? When's her nap time? How can I tell if she's tired? Now I'm mad at this point and tell him to stop being a jackass and I'm not arguing with him. I get home and the baby wakes up from a nap and he comes out with her and says, what do I do now? What does she need? Should I change her first? Should I feed her? At this point I'm seeing red but just stay silent, and he keeps going and starts poking me. I tell him to just go be a fucking father. He won't stop telling me how controlling I and won't let him be a dad. I'm like, dude, I was just trying to let you know what I noticed is currently working for our daughter. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Update. Thank you all for your responses. I definitely will be taking a huge step back and looking at the way I'm handling things as well. As I type this, he's up with the baby for the day and I'm still laying in bed. He's a great dad and I'm going to give him the chance to be that. Update 2. The fight took place yesterday and I forgot to change the verbiage BC. I wrote it out in my notes for the character count. This morning and last night he took the baby and is actively with her and playing with her while I get ready to go out for some self-care today. Last and disappointing update. I tried apologizing to him and he told me he doesn't want my apologies BC. He feels they're empty and that I apologize too much, but I actually mean them and just know when I'm being rude and can apologize for it a lot more. And in turn I said, you don't feel the need to apologize for the way you treated me last night? And he didn't say anything, so marriage counseling it is, I guess. Story number 3. AITA for withholding pregnancy information from my email. I 25F am currently 14 weeks pregnant. When we found out about the pregnancy on New Year, we shared the news with my email. Shortly, we called her. She was on speaker when my husband broke the news. He told her we are pregnant. Great news for us. His stepdad didn't hear what was said and nagged her to share the news. I could hear him over the call. She said she is pregnant again with a lot of disappointment and dissatisfaction. Later, she explained to my husband that she was just worried about him. So now to today and why I am writing this post. I am withholding information about the pregnancy since that phone call. She continuously asks how far along I am, if I will find out the gender, and when my due date is. Very harmless and normal questions. But from my experience with my son, 21 month, she was asking in the last month of pregnancy, every week, if I went into labor, then every day in the last week leading to the due date, and every day past the due date. She kept insisting she needs to be informed ASAP and it's very important to her. When she insisted to be in the labor room, I said no. She insisted to be in the hallway. I said no. Then she pulled the card, but your mom is going to be there. Why can't I be? I won't get in the way. My mom was nowhere near the hospital when I was in labor, neither did I ever ask or mention her potentially being there. I only wanted my husband by me. My husband told his stepdad that I went into labor after I asked to keep it to ourselves after his mom's shenanigans. So he broke my trust while I was vulnerable. I was in labor for 32 hours. I could hear her call him every hour. He would constantly leave the room and leave me alone. He was highly distracted. When he stopped answering her calls, she started spamming his phone with texts. And apparently she was bugging my mom for any information about the labor. Currently, I avoid topics of pregnancy, hide under oversized clothes when I am around her, shoot her down when she brings up any pregnancy-related stuff, act stupid like I never got the due date, and that I am not sure what the gender would be. No point guessing that I don't care about the pregnancy and I am busy with work. I feel like I am the asshole, but I want to have some privacy and go through labor and have my husband's attention on me, and I want to have a few days after the labor where I don't answer calls or expected to send photos or allow people to visit. I don't think I ask for a lot. But AITA? I am withholding information from my family too, and my husband's biological dad, even though they never wronged me. They don't pester me to tell them anything, and they respect my decisions. Story number 4. AITA for mistaking my girlfriend's weight accidentally. So I, 21M, was driving with my girlfriend, 20F, earlier tonight, and we were talking about ideal protein intake based on your body weight, about 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. She was saying how that would mean she needed like 150 grams per day, which by my mediocre on-the-spot math at the time meant that she was about 250 pounds, which I didn't believe for a second. My girlfriend is about 5 feet 7 inches and looks to be a completely normal weight. That being said, I remembered a few months ago that my girlfriend said that she stepped on the scale and told me that her weight in pounds started with a 2, which again I didn't believe, as I assumed she was around the same weight as me, if not maybe a bit heavier. I'm 5 feet 4 inches, 150 pounds, and she's a bit taller than me, so I figured it was around 160 to 170 for her at most, but she seemed pretty adamant that she was over 200 pounds, so I believed her even though it didn't seem to add up to me. Flash forward back to tonight. When she said she was 250 pounds, which I knew was an over-exaggeration, I said, "You're obviously not 250 pounds, at most you're like 190, which again, I didn't really believe, but I was going off the number she'd given given me a few months ago minus a few pounds, as I think she has lost a little weight since then. What you need to know about my girlfriend is that she is very self-conscious about her weight. Even though I think she has an incredibly attractive body, she always says how she's huge and sometimes refuses to eat meals because of her fear of being overweight. I wouldn't say she has an eating disorder, but she definitely does not have a healthy attitude towards her body and eating. When I said the guess of 190, she got incredibly upset at me and started crying and asking for me to bring her home and said that she couldn't believe that I thought she was that heavy. I apologized and told her I was only going off the number she had given me a few months before, which she said she had been a joke. From my recollection, there was nothing about her tone at that time that suggested it was a joke, even if I didn't fully believe her. I apologized again and told her that I didn't really think she looked 190 and that when she told me she was over 200, I didn't really believe it but went along with it because A, I'll be honest, I'm not that confident in myself when guessing people's weight, and B, it is incredibly hard to know when my girlfriend is joking. She rebuffed me and said that I should be good at guessing weights as I used to work at a gym, and she said that it's no wonder I got fired. For the record, I wasn't fired, I just got my shifts cut down for reasons out of my control. I reassured her that she looks beautiful and doesn't look overweight at all, and she seems to have calmed down now that we've gotten home. Still, I just want to make sure that I wasn't being a complete asshole to her because I care a lot about her and try my best to support and reassure her about her body. Story number 5. AITA for coming home from work and using common spaces in a house I rent when my roommate's on a Zoom call in the kitchen. Okay, so the last few weeks my roommate's been working from home. We live in a house with a large shared space and 2 rooms on each side. When I've been getting home the last few days, she's been on a Zoom calls in the kitchen till almost 5 every day. I get home at 245, so I've actively been trying to be quiet, minus a human error here and there of dropping something. The other day she snapped at me when I was putting my groceries away after I accidentally dropped something, asking for just 20 minutes of silence, which sparked an argument about us needing to have a conversation because I'm not being respectful when I get home by using common spaces and acting like nobody is home. I will say I have been told a couple months ago that sometimes I can be loud and slam cabinets in the morning, so I've actively been trying to be more aware. I make smoothies in the bathroom with the door shut, do my training outdoors, put earbuds in, etc. I tried explaining it's common space and that I'm not maliciously being loud, but she is very set on the fact that I'm being disrespectful by walking by. I have no other route, or because I haven't apologized, that I'm not sure. Her words were, I understand. You get off early, but my workday ends at 5 p.m. and you need to be respectful of me and my job until then. I work 2 jobs and need to train for one of them, which requires me being active, grabbing equipment, walking through shared space. My lunch break is at 10:30 a.m. too, so when I get home I'm used to making a snack. TLDR, AITA for using common space in a rented house while my roommate is working from home and doing Zoom calls in the living room / kitchen / shared space. Thank you guys so much for watching and making to the end of the video. Don't forget to leave a like and comment down below what part was your favorite and what would you guys like to watch in future videos, and subscribe with notifications on. And again, thank you guys so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.